Hey there, welcome to Golden Age Style. This is your space to celebrate who you are, bold, vibrant, and unstoppable no matter your age. If you're a woman over 50, or you love someone who is today's video, is all about breaking free from outdated fashion rules. We're kicking things off with a story about one woman, a stunning chiffon dress, and the courage to shine. It's a reminder that beauty isn't about being young, it's about being you. So grab a cozy drink, settle in, and let's dive into this journey together. She was 57, a retired high school teacher, a grandmother of 2. Her name was Margaret. That morning, standing in front of the mirror, she slipped into a sheer embroidered chiffon dress, something she hadn't worn in decades. It was light, airy, and delicate. The kind of dress she once admired on magazine pages but never believed was meant for women her age. But that day was different. That dress didn't just drape over her body, it awakened something inside her. As she walked into her daughter's garden, wedding heads turned, not because she looked younger, but because she looked alive. And in that moment, Margaret realized something profound. Style isn't about youth. It's about energy. It's not the age on your driver's license that defines beauty. It's the feeling you radiate when you show up as yourself unapologetically. So let me ask you this. When was the last time you wore something that made you feel beautiful? Not just look beautiful. For far too long, fashion has whispered to older women, tone it down, fade to beige, be invisible, but I say no more. If you're a woman over 50, it's time to reclaim your space and style. And today, we're diving into one of the most unexpectedly powerful pieces. You can wear the sheer chiffon embroidered dress. No, it's not too young. No, it's not trying too hard. And no, it's not reserved for runways or red carpets. It's yours if you want it to be. In this episode, I'll walk you through why chiffon embroidery isn't just a fabric choice, it's a confidence statement. How to style it for every body shape, from petite to curvy to statuesque. What colors bring out your inner light, and which ones might be dimming it. Real stories of women who rediscovered their radiance with just one dress. And how you too can turn heads not to impress others, but to express yourself. Because fashion after 50 isn't about chasing trends. It's about finally dressing for you, the woman you've become through years of growth, love loss, learning, and becoming. So whether you're getting ready for a wedding, a beach stroll, or simply looking for something new to wear, that doesn't scream, safe, stay with me. Because by the end of this journey, you won't just want the dress, you'll own it. Let's begin. Let's begin by reflecting on how the world has shaped our ideas of beauty and self-expression. Somewhere along the way, society quietly decided that women over 50 should start disappearing. Not literally, of course, but in the ways that matter. In fashion magazines, on runways, in advertisements, even in the colors and silhouettes offered on the racks. Style became something to be aged out of, as if self-expression had an expiration date. You've seen it. That subtle shift where vibrant patterns turn into muted florals, where bold cuts become boxy shapes, and where the joyful play of clothing is replaced with the safe choice beige, navy, and a cardigan to hide what we've been told to hide. But here's the truth, you were never too old. The world was simply too afraid of your power. Fashion at its best is not about trends. It's not about youth. It's about identity. And the older you get, the more of yourself you truly know. Isn't that the perfect time to dress like you mean it? Let's talk about Elaine. Elaine is 62. She worked as a pediatric nurse for over 3 decades and retired thinking she'd spend most of her time gardening and babysitting her grandkids. But something in her felt restless, like she'd left a part of herself on the shelf. One afternoon, while shopping for a friend's birthday dinner, she walked into a boutique and saw a long, sheer chiffon dress with rose embroidery. It flowed like a dream and shimmered slightly under the light. Her first instinct, I could never wear that. Her second instinct, why not? That night, she wore it. She paired it with simple earrings, a soft blowout, and just a touch of lipstick. The reaction. Not one person told her she looked young. Instead, they said, "You look like you." It's a phrase she hadn't heard in years. Style isn't about looking younger. It's about looking youer, more authentic, more aligned with the woman you've become. So where does this myth come from that women over 50 shouldn't be bold, sensual, or expressive with their clothes? It comes from fear. The kind of fear that industries have of losing control. When women embrace their age and still show up radiant, stylish, and self-possessed, it disrupts the old narrative that only youth has value. But more than that, it comes from habit. Generations were raised with the idea that turning 50 meant slipping into invisibility. Clothing for mature women was designed for utility, not joy. And joy, my friend, is revolutionary. Chiffon, especially with embroidery, is the perfect rebel's fabric. It's soft, but unapologetically present. It moves. It catches light. It plays with transparency, not to reveal, but to suggest. It whispers elegance while shouting confidence. No wonder it's making a comeback among women who refuse to be muted. Here's something I want you to try. Open your closet. Find that one piece you've been avoiding. Maybe it's too bright, too sheer, too fitted, too much. Now ask yourself this. Who told you that? Was it your mother of fashion magazine, an ex, or maybe a version of yourself that hadn't yet learned how incredible she'd become? What if you wore it anyway? You see, the myth of too old for style was never really about age. It was about permission. And I'm here to tell you, you don't need anyone's permission to look stunning. Your age isn't a limitation. It's your superpower. It means you've seen things, lived through storms, learned lessons the hard way, and laughed harder than most. You have stories in your eyes and strength in your bones. And that, more than any hemline or neckline, is what makes you radiant. So wear the dress. Try the earrings. Choose the color that lights you up instead of the one that blends in. Because the biggest myth of all is thinking that your best fashion days are behind you. Trust me, they're just getting started. Now allow me to share a story about rediscovery softness and the courage to wear what truly moves us. There's something magical about chiffon. It's a fabric that doesn't shout, it whispers. It floats rather than clings. It moves with you, not against you. And when embroidery is stitched into it, something even more powerful happens. The fabric becomes a canvas, and you, the woman wearing it, become art. Chiffon has been around for centuries, worn by royalty actresses and brides. But for far too long, it's been seen as delicate, impractical, or reserved only for special occasions. That changes now, because chiffon, when styled with intention, becomes more than just clothing. It becomes a declaration, a soft revolution. Let me introduce you to Rosa. Rosa is 59, a former corporate executive who now runs a small floral studio out of her home. For years, she wore tailored suits, crisp white shirts, and neutral colors. They gave her authority, control, and respect. But they also built a wall between who she was and how she felt inside. After retiring early due to burnout, Rosa realized she didn't know how to dress without a dress code. So she did what many women do. She defaulted to safety. Stretched jeans, oversized tops, comfortable shoes, invisible colors. Then one spring morning, a friend invited her to an art gallery opening. The theme, modern femininity. Rosa stood in front of her wardrobe uninspired. That's when she remembered the chiffon dress her sister had gifted her 2 years earlier. She had never worn it. It was soft blush ankle length with subtle embroidery across the sleeves and hem. Too flowy, she once thought. Too fragile. Too exposed. But something inside her whispered, "Try it." She slipped it on. It didn't fit her like a glove. It flowed like a breeze. As she looked in the mirror, something shifted. She saw softness where she had armored herself with structure. She saw grace in the way the fabric moved with her shoulders. She saw a version of herself she had buried under decades of responsibility. That night, she walked into the gallery not just as Rosa, the retired executive, but as Rosa, the woman. And every compliment she received wasn't just about the dress. It was about the energy she carried. "You look so free," one woman told her. Rosa smiled. Because for the first time in years, she felt it. That's the awakening chiffon offers, not because of the fabric itself, but because of what it allows you to feel. Chiffon breathes. It doesn't restrict. It allows room for movement, for air, for possibility. And when embroidery is added, floral vines, delicate shapes, abstract designs, it gives voice to your softness and your strength at once. Why is this especially powerful for women over 50? Because at this stage in life, we've learned to armor up. We've worn the uniforms of motherhood careers, caregiving, survival. We've tightened belts around our waists and our time. We've buttoned up emotions and zipped past our own desires. Chiffon unbuttons all of that. It says, you're allowed to be light again, to be soft, to be sensual without explanation. And it's not about exposing your body. It's about expressing your spirit. There's a reason many women cry when they find the right dress. Because it's never just about the fabric or the fit. It's about finally seeing yourself again and loving what you see. That's what chiffon does when you let it. It moves with your body, but more importantly, it moves with your story. Next, let's explore how understanding your shape isn't about limitation. It's about liberation. Let's get one thing straight. You don't have to fix your body to wear beautiful clothes. You don't need to camouflage, distract, or disguise. You don't need permission from a fashion magazine, a stylist, or even that inner critic that whispers in your ear. You already have the perfect body to wear whatever makes you feel powerful. Not someday. Not after the diet. Not when your arms are more toned or your waist a little smaller. Now. Because the real secret to looking great in any outfit, especially something as soft and flowing as chiffon, is not about changing your shape. It's about changing the rules you've been taught to follow. Let me tell you about Janice. Janice is 54 and has what many would call a pear-shaped figure. Wider hips, narrow shoulders, and a beautifully defined waist. For years, she avoided dresses altogether because she thought they made her look bottom-heavy. She was told to wear black hide her hips and draw attention away from her curves. Then one day, at a weekend fashion workshop for midlife women, a stylist asked her to try on a dusty lavender A-line chiffon dress with embroidered sleeves and a gathered neckline. Janice hesitated. "That's not for my body," she said. The stylist smiled. "It's not for your body, it's for your confidence." She tried it on. It floated from her waist, the embroidery brought light to her shoulders and face, and the soft fabric moved with her, not against her. She didn't look slimmer. She looked powerful. Her entire posture changed. Because when clothing fits your energy instead of just your frame, something inside you shifts. That's why chiffon dresses, especially embroidered ones, work beautifully on every body shape. Not because they hide flaws, but because they honor who you are. If your body is pear-shaped like Janice's, choose chiffon dresses that celebrate your waist and lift attention upward. Look for light embroidery near the shoulders or neckline to balance proportions. A soft fitted slip underneath helps define your curves and adds harmony to the silhouette. For apple-shaped women, those with fuller midsections and slimmer limbs opt for empire waist designs. These dresses draw the eye up and create shape beneath the bust. Embroidery placed just below the bust line can emphasize elegance and elongate the torso. Hourglass figures shine in almost anything, but chiffon adds a special touch. Try a slightly fitted slip underneath a flowing overlay. Add a simple belt to accentuate the waist, and let the movement of the fabric speak for itself. And if your body is more rectangular, where your bust, waist, and hips align in similar proportions, play with volume and shape. Embroidered tiers, flutter sleeves, and asymmetrical hems can add softness and motion. Even a ruched or contoured slip dress beneath the chiffon creates the illusion of curves without forcing the body into something it's not. But here's the truth, no style guide will tell you. The most flattering outfit is the one you wear with conviction. A confident woman changes how a dress moves. She changes how it's seen. She fills it with presence. So stop thinking about how to make your body fit the dress. Start choosing dresses that fit the life you want to live. Wear the embroidered chiffon because it feels like a breeze on your skin. Because it catches the light when you walk. Because it reminds you that softness and strength can coexist. Forget the rules. Make your own. And let your style follow the shape of your spirit, not the shape of your measurements. Now let's shift into the world of color, how it reflects not just your mood, but your essence. Color isn't just what we see, it's what we feel. And somewhere along the road to 50, many women were told to stop feeling too much, to dress in muted tones, to blend in, to be sensible, to wear navy because it's professional, beige because it's safe, black because it's slimming, and maybe a pastel scarf if you're feeling adventurous. But color was never meant to be used just for hiding. It was meant to express. Think back to when you were a child. Do you remember picking your favorite color? Not based on trends, not based on what flattered your skin tone, just because it made you happy. Because it lit something up inside you. You didn't need anyone's permission to wear it then. Why should you now? Let me introduce you to Carolyn. Carolyn is 61 and works as a museum docent. For decades, her wardrobe lived in the grayscale. Her reason, I didn't want to stand out. But truthfully, she didn't want to risk being judged. She feared someone would say she was trying too hard, dressing too young, drawing attention she wasn't sure she deserved anymore. Then, one afternoon, while browsing through an old Parisian photo book at work, she saw a woman in her 70s wearing a coral chiffon dress with turquoise embroidery standing on a bridge. She wasn't young, but she was radiant, alive, almost glowing. Carolyn couldn't stop looking. That weekend she went shopping. She tried on a navy chiffon embroidered overlay paired with a coral slip. The bold contrast made her nervous, but when she stepped into the light, her eyes lit up. The sales clerk didn't compliment the dress. She said, "That color brings you forward." And just like that, Carolyn remembered what it felt like to take up space. You see, color has memory. It brings you forward even when you've spent years holding back. Soft lavender over blush evokes calmness, femininity, and romance. A monochrome moment like that can feel like a soft breath in a chaotic world. Emerald green paired with cream suggests vitality and growth. Burnt orange with deep purple. Confidence with depth. There's no one-color-fits-all rule here. Instead, ask what color reflects how I want to feel today. Do I want to feel warm and comforting? Try earth tones with golden undertones. Do I want to feel bold and unapologetic? Jewel tones, ruby sapphire, topaz are your allies. Do I want to feel mysterious? Deep charcoal and plum might be your palette. Do I want to feel hopeful? Light blues and soft pastels will do the talking. The beauty of chiffon is that it carries color like a whisper. It doesn't scream. Even bold shades appear softened, fluid, approachable. Embroidery adds texture and intention, turning fabric into a message. Color isn't about youth, it's about energy. And here's something I tell every woman I work with. If a color makes you feel alive, it is already the perfect color for you. Forget the idea that after 50, you should only wear what's appropriate. Appropriate to whom you've earned your years. Now earn your brightness. Because when you step into a room wearing a color that lights you up, whether it's blush pink or midnight teal, you're not trying to look younger. You're reminding the world that vibrancy doesn't fade. It deepens. So go ahead. Choose the slip dress that excites you. Layer it under that sheer embroidered chiffon that shimmers just right. Let the embroidery play with the light and let the colors dance with your mood. Because the most powerful thing you can wear isn't the dress, it's the way you feel in it. Let's move into the details, the subtle elements that turn clothing into energy accessories. If the dress is your canvas, then accessories are the brush strokes that bring the story to life. They're not just finishing touches, they're declarations of who you are, of where you've been, and of how boldly you're willing to show up in the world. For too long, women over 50 have been told to keep it simple. Tone it down. Choose modest jewelry. Don't let your shoes outshine your sensibility. But who made those rules? Let's talk about Diane. Diane is 65 and the kind of woman who always gave generously, but never to herself. She spent years raising 3 kids, caring for her mother, and working part-time jobs to make ends meet. When she retired, her daughter gave her a small symbolic gift, a silk scarf from Paris. It was deep green with golden swirls and subtle silver threads. Diane folded it and tucked it away. She didn't feel fancy enough to wear it. Until one evening, standing in front of the mirror, wearing her favorite black chiffon dress with delicate embroidery, she looked at her reflection and felt unfinished. Something was missing, not in the dress, in the energy. She remembered the scarf. She wrapped it gently around her neck, letting one end fall down the front, the other trail behind her shoulder. Suddenly, the dress came alive. But more importantly, she came alive. Accessories are not about decoration. They are about activation. The right accessory doesn't overpower you. It amplifies you. It frames your face. It directs the eye. It says, look here. This is where the light is. Whether it's a pair of dangling pearl earrings, a wide leather belt, a chunky resin bangle, or a vintage brooch with a story, these pieces aren't random. They're meaningful. They hold memory and intention. Want to breathe new life into your chiffon embroidered dress? Here's how. Try a statement necklace that nestles just above the neckline of your dress. Not too flashy, just bold enough to center your energy. If your chiffon is light and romantic, choose something earthy stone leather wood. It grounds you. If your dress is deep and mysterious, go for metallic shimmer to catch the light and reflect your power. Use scarves not as cover-ups, but as storytellers. A silk scarf in rich tones can drape over one shoulder like a sash. A printed chiffon scarf can dance with your dress in the wind. Don't underestimate belts, especially on chiffon. A thin metallic or embroidered belt can define your waist without disrupting flow. Think of it not as restriction, but as a gentle reminder of your shape and presence. And when it comes to shoes, don't default to what's expected. A woman in a chiffon dress paired with sleek ankle boots electric. A silver sandal catching the sun. Effortless. Even clean white sneakers with a midi-length chiffon dress can say, "I'm both elegance and ease." Accessories are where your contrast lives. Soft dress, bold earring, flowing layers, structured handbag, translucent fabric, confident color pop. Play with opposition. That's where style happens. But here's the truth, no one tells you. You are already the main accessory. Everything else, necklaces, scarves, earrings, they're just punctuation. You're the sentence. When a woman walks into a room wearing a simple chiffon dress beautifully cut, moving gently with her step, and a single accessory that reflects her inner self, she doesn't need to say anything. She's already spoken. So stop saving your good pieces for later, for special occasions, for someone else's approval. Wear the ring your mother passed down, the silk scarf from your travels, the bangles you bought when you felt daring. Wear them because they remind you of your worth, because they bring your memories into the present. Most of all, wear them because they make you feel radiant. And that's what real accessorizing is about, not matching, not rules, not price tags. It's about aligning the outside with the spark that's already burning inside. Now imagine the way a dress moves not just around your body, but through your story. Style isn't static. It breathes, it flows, it moves with you. And nowhere is that more apparent than in a dress made of chiffon. Unlike stiff fabrics that hold their own shape, chiffon follows you. It responds to every step, every turn, every shift in the wind. It doesn't just hang on your body, it dances with it. And that's the real secret. When you move with confidence, the world moves with you. Let me tell you about Gloria. Gloria is 72. She walks every morning, rain or shine, and she always wears lipstick, no matter what. One afternoon, she was invited to a community garden celebration. She had a dress tucked away in her closet, an ankle-length pale blue chiffon dress with delicate silver embroidery at the hem. She nearly didn't wear it. "I'm too old to be floating around in something like this," she muttered. But then she caught a glimpse of herself in the mirror, not just her body, but the softness of the fabric as it followed her movement. There was grace there. There was presence. She wore it. And when she danced under the string lights to the sounds of a local jazz band, the fabric lifted around her like light itself. A young woman nearby whispered, "She looks like joy." That's what movement does. It translates the emotion we carry inside into something others can see. And chiffon is the perfect language for it. But here's the deeper truth: movement isn't just about how the dress flows. It's about how you flow. Confidence isn't a rigid posture or a polished performance. It's a relaxed jaw. It's laughter that escapes without apology. It's walking into a room and not shrinking even when no one notices at first. It's choosing the dress you love even when it breaks the rules. It's feeling free in your skin at 52, 63, 71. Not because everything is perfect, but because you've made peace with who you are. Chiffon doesn't hide you. It doesn't correct. It doesn't sculpt or squeeze. It invites you to move as you are, with elegance, with ease, with truth. Have you ever watched a woman who moves like she owns her story? She might not be the youngest in the room, but she is the most unforgettable. She adjusts her scarf not out of insecurity, but because it's part of her rhythm. She lifts her hem to climb stairs, not clumsily, but as if she were dancing through time. Every motion says, "I am here. I have lived. I am still living." That's the unexpected magic of aging in style. It's not just about looking good. It's about finally feeling unrestricted by fashion, by expectations, by fear. And chiffon, soft, airy, often overlooked chiffon, is the fabric that allows for that liberation. You don't need to pose, you just need to move. Let your dress breathe as you walk. Let it catch the breeze when you laugh outside. Let it fall off your shoulder just slightly, not by mistake, but because you're no longer trying to hold everything so tightly. This is your permission slip. To glide, to sway, to step fully into the woman you've become. Because when confidence meets movement, and movement meets light fabric and a radiant heart, something unexplainable happens. People stop and stare, not because of the dress, but because of the way you wear it. And finally, let's close with a reflection on what all of this really means, what your style says about your legacy. At some point, we all realize that style is no longer about trends. It's about legacy. It's the way your granddaughter watches you choose your earrings with intention. The way your daughter smiles when she sees you wearing color again. The way strangers take a second glance, not because of what you wear, but because of how fully you inhabit yourself. You see, fashion may begin as fabric, but style is what you leave behind. When you step out in a sheer embroidered chiffon dress, you're not just getting dressed. You're telling the world, I still matter. You're showing your softness and your strength. You're becoming a living reminder that age is not a boundary, it's a badge. Your clothing becomes part of your voice. The scarf that flutters in the wind is not just silk, it's freedom. The ring on your finger isn't just jewelry, it's memory. The movement of your dress isn't just elegance, it's proof that you're still dancing through life. And the more you show up in your truth, the more you light the path for others. For every woman who has ever doubted her reflection. For every woman who folded away her favorite dress, thinking her time had passed. For every woman who believed style belonged to the young, only to discover it belongs to the brave. You are not fading. You are glowing, evolving, becoming more powerful in the most unexpected ways. So let's make this more than just another moment. Let's turn it into a movement. Because when women over 50 reclaim their beauty, their bodies, and their boldness, we don't just change how we dress. We change how the world sees aging itself. And if this message resonates with you, if you felt even a spark of that light inside yourself today, then I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe to Golden Age Style for more stories, more inspiration, and more reminders that your best style is still ahead of you. Leave a comment below. Share your own story, your favorite outfit, or the moment you finally felt seen again. And if there's a woman in your life who needs this reminder, send it to her. Let's grow this community together because elegance, power, and beauty don't retire. They rise. And now so do you.